Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and students, mentees of Oxford Brookes University's Research and Analysis Project undertaking. In this video, what we are going to look at is essentially a reminder, but a consolidation as well of a very important and a very simple question that I feel that I have to, keep adding some more graphic clarity to it. And the question is very simple. How do you ensure that you pass the Oxford Brookes University's Research and Analysis Project? And the answers, again, as simple as the question, but not very easy to follow. The first answer is obviously something I've highlighted across, but get started as early as possible. Time is your biggest strength and biggest asset that you have. So if you utilize your time smoothly, then all the problems related to anxiety, related to lack of planning, related to catching up, related to re-edits, related to concerns whether you should postpone, all of that goes away, right? It just vanishes. So it is very important that you understand that and make sure that you start as early as possible and get the benefit of time that you have. Do it yourself. So this is something that I'm newly adding, because what I've noticed is in some cases, unfortunately, there are situations of initial submissions, resubmissions, but I've come across situations where there are candidates who do undertake the RAP project but then outsource it to a third party, because there are so many people who would want to exploit this opportunity and say that they can offer you something great, and for money, obviously. And you just type on the internet and there are so many places offering this service. Organization, not really organizations, it could be individuals, it could be small teams who undertake this kind of work, but it is extremely dangerous, because by no means, if someone like me who is in academia and who is working across several sectors of business writing, if I can easily flag, and what has happened is that over time I've been able to recognize who exactly and how exactly based on the language, and if I can do that, then imagine what OBU can do with Turnitin and with the massive number of submissions they get. So plagiarism is a huge deal, and every time we have hundreds of students getting caught up for either just high numbers, high percentages of plagiarism, even despite having done the project, because they're not getting the right guidance in terms of how to paraphrase, in terms of how to do referencing correctly, but beyond that also because of outsourcing. So please make sure that you do it yourself. This is one of the most important points of making sure that you can pass, because if you do it yourself, the chances or the probability of you passing is near 100%. But if you outsource it, this drastically drops to like 5-10%. That is OBU if it is someone who has never done it before, right? Who doesn't provide this service, someone who hasn't written this project, who hasn't even seen it writes. That is the only chance where OBU might not flag it. So do you really want to take that chance? That is very minimal. So please make sure that you remember this. The third is follow the instructions. And it's very important. And what's the first instruction? Let me ask you. What is the first and foremost instruction of doing the OBU RAP? It's a very simple one, but a very powerful one. What is it? It is the reading. You're right. It is the reading of the information pack. That is where everything starts. Before you look at mentors, before you look at the YouTube videos or whatever, before you talk to friends who have done the OBU RAP, none of it precedes this important guideline, important instruction, reading the information pack. And that information pack has a plethora of other information and instructions. That is what you have to follow. That's like the manual of the OBU RAP. If you're someone who's going to start or undertake the OBU RAP without reading the information pack, boy, you're in for a dark path ahead of you. So please make sure that you follow the instructions throughout. Instructions from OBU, instructions from the information pack, instructions from the YouTube videos. I have created YouTube videos from OBU, which is definitely a critical tool that you have to use. Instructions from the mentor, right? The trained registered mentor. This is a very important, and stick to the timeline. So, as if you're working with me, this is something that we establish at the outset itself. But of course, I would recommend for anyone undertaking any project with any mentor, doesn't matter. You have to have a timeline, right? So, how detailed it is, how clear it is, how what kind of planning has gone into it, that of course can vary. But you have to try and stick to what you set out to do. That is very important, because I told you earlier, start as early as possible. And that point is important because that is one way that will assure that you can stick to the timeline. And finally, achieve the milestones. Even if you look at page number 9 of your information pack, the timeline flowchart that OBU has given to you in the information pack, from which you can extract milestones. Of course, if you're working with me, we will be breaking it down further. But beyond that, what you have to understand is that it is critical that you establish your sub goals, sub objectives, and you keep checking them off. You keep ticking right in front of them, so that you know that you're progressing, and also it helps you identify any gaps, any shortcomings. So these are the most critical points that I can give you in the shortest possible way, that if you take heed to, this process and this challenge ahead of you is going to be very simple, very straightforward. Of course, with good commitment, good focus, and consistent effort. So, all the very best. I am currently accepting mentees for the OBU RAP period 46 of the submission, that is May 2023. The link is in the description section of wherever you find this video. Just check it out, and you can fill the form and get all the instructions of working with me directly to your inbox. On that note, thank you very much, and all the very best. I'll see you soon in a different video maybe. Happy researching, folks.